Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. These are my SummerSlam 2011 thoughts. Now before we go on, I'd just like to say that, I did my predictions vid a couple of days ago. Well, there was 5 matches on the card that I predicted, yeah? And if you can believe such a thing, I managed to get, well, every single one of them wrong. A straight 0 for 5. That's nice, isn't it? So let's get on with it, shall we? So these are thoughts, not a review, so hopefully this won't take very long. Probably like 20 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes that it'd be for a review. No Jim Ross on commentary with Bosh of me or somewhere. Anyway, opening contest was Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston and John Morrison taking on R Truth, Alberto Del Rio and The Miz. Now, would it have been so very hard for WWE to have promoted this match? I mean, you've got some of the cream of your upcoming guys, and you've got The Miz in there, you've got Del Rio in there, you've got Morrison and Truth in there, why not advertise this match? That just doesn't make any sense at all. This match was all right. I mean, it was. This match, if this was a main event on Raw or on SmackDown, you'd be happy with it. But otherwise, it wasn't anything particularly special. The only bit that I really liked was the cutter that Miz did on Kofi Kingston, where he dropped him right on his noggin. That looked impressive. And there was also, a lot of high spots towards the end, including the match-winning frog splash that Rey Mysterio got. Speaking of Rey Mysterio, nice of him to participate in an injury angle with The Miz this past Monday on Raw, but doesn't sell the injuries at all in this match. That was nice. I think good work there, Rey. So yeah, I gave that one 2 stars. Next, we got Mark Henry versus Sheamus. Prediction was for Sheamus. Crowd are hot for Sheamus in this one, which I liked. Match is pretty hard hitting. The crowd were into it, which helped. The finish comes towards the end. I was going to say then, because the finish coming in the middle normally spoils a match, doesn't it? Sheamus hits the bro kick to Henry. Henry ends up on the outside. Sheamus tries to pick him up, but Mark Henry's fat as fuck, isn't he? And he's dead weight. Plays possum essentially. Sheamus gets slammed into the ring post and then launched through the barricade. There's a load of plants, planted guys there that are marking out like bandits and doing the holy shit, did you see that? That was pretty funny, and so Sheamus gets counted out. So interesting thing for this one, it sets up a rematch. Like I say, it was a hard hitting match. It was perfectly acceptable. I think a lot of people had very low expectations for this one, so it's quite surprising that people are rating it as they are, I'm sure. 2 stars I gave this one, perfectly happy to. Next though, we get a thing that's really bothered me in this show, which is we've got a CeeLo Green concert on a pay-per-view, and I don't get this at all. I can accept it, and I can let it slide. I think at the big show of the year, WrestleMania, 4-hour show. I've got no problem if you want to put a guy doing a couple of songs on there, really, as long as they're alright, which normally it isn't. Anyway, the point is that this was completely pointless. We could have had another match in the time that we had, and then I've got no problem with the tunes that CeeLo Green. I'm not exactly a CeeLo Green fan or anything, but no problem with that. But what bothered me more? I tell you what bothered me more than anything that CeeLo Green did is that on this pay-per-view we had adverts, which I don't recall ever seeing before. I understand that they have to put adverts on the TV shows, but on a pay-per-view? This pay-per-view in America, if you went for the HD option, cost $50. Alright? Why put adverts in there? That makes no sense whatsoever. That really bothered me. Anyway, next was Klly versus Beth Phoenix. Better than expectations, could we say? No botches that I saw, but damn, I have no idea why they're keeping this goddamn title on Klly. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, in my opinion. Klly rolled through a glam slam to get the win, and that was a 1-star match, in my opinion. Like I say, better than expected. Next we had a R Truth cutting program. What do you think, Jimmy? And there's Jimmy Hart. Like that was nice. God, then we had a commercial for Twix. That fucking one with the policeman singing. Oh, just awful. Next up, Wade Barrett versus Daniel Bryan. Bryan finally has some new music, which I always like, because that one here before. I just don't get. What I don't get right is why is Michael Cole continuing to rip on Daniel Bryan? At the end of the day, Daniel Bryan has got a Money in the Bank opportunity, and there's more than likely that he's going to cash it in at some point and win the championship, since every fucker else has done to cash in the Money in the Bank. surely want him as strong as possible. The loss here to Wade Barrett doesn't affect him in that sense, I don't think. What I think is still more damaging is that you've got this guy who is an indie darling, and all the the IWC, the internet fans all think he's awesome, but he's not getting over with the mainstream. And I think part of that is down to the fact that Michael Cole absolutely demolishes him every time he talks about him. I don't understand that. I really don't. This match again was hard hitting. Daniel Bryan worked some very, very stiff kicks in this one. What was weird with this one is that the crowd didn't really seem to give a fuck about it. Maybe the women's match had knocked all the stuffing out of the crowd, I don't know, but they didn't really seem to really get into the match. Hell, a CM Punk chant broke out in the middle of the match. That's not good, is it? You don't want that, do you? Little thought, I cringe every single time. I mean, every single time that Daniel Bryan does that missile dropkick that he does. Because if you think about it, he's taking a flat back bump off the top rope every single time. That's gotta hurt. And for his career, surely he should stop doing that. But that's just me. Bryan cowered the wasteland into a really nice umbrella lock, but then ultimately it was the wasteland that got the win for Barrett at 11:46. Best match of the night so far, 3 stars. Crowd didn't seem to care. Barrett's been lost in the shuffle. This time last year, Wade Barrett was a rising star with the whole Nexus thing, but now he's just another guy. And a win like this, I'm sure, will do good for him. You can hope, can't you? Next, on to the main event. So we've had a good show so far, but at the same time, there's only been that one match that's been a 3-star. We've had two 2-star matches and a 1-star match. So we've had a very average card so far, do you not think? So next, Christian versus Orton. Christian comes out first, and he brings out Edge, who gets a monstrous pop. I've missed Edge, so that was nice. He then rips Christian apart on the mic, which for the feel-good factor, I suppose, because what he was saying was completely true. But at the same time, why would you bury your world heavyweight champion in this style? So yeah, well, that's just me. Anyway, main event spinebuster by Christian gets 2, but that's not the story here. The story was that Orton was bleeding out of his mouth, something the announcers completely ignored, which was very, very odd. Orton gets 2 tables out. I've skipped quite a large part of the match here. We're just going to talk about some of the high spots in this one, the big stuff. Orton gets 2 tables out from under the ring. He then he sets one up on the outside and puts one in the ring, but flat down, and superplexes Christian onto it in a spot that must have hurt. Nasty, but looked good as well. After a brawl on the outside, Orton RKO's Christian through the announcer's table, which this time mercifully breaks. If you remember Money in the Bank, he did it twice on the Spanish announce table. It didn't break both times. This time it definitely broke, and it was great. It got a "This is awesome" chant, which you seldom hear on a WWE show, don't you? That was interesting. Killswitch only gets 2 in a very close near fall. Christian sets up for a concerto, spits in Orton's face, which is not a very nice thing to do. And as you can probably imagine, Orton gets a bit pissed off with that one. And he unloads on Christian with a chair and knocks Christian to the apron, then hits him with another chair shot. Christian goes off the apron through the table that can be conveniently set up on the outside of their own. Fantastic. Can't go wrong with that, can you? He gets out a garbage can, then power slams Christian through another table set up in the corner. The same one, I think, that he'd done the superplex onto. And then, if that's not enough, he then hits a few kendo shots, then does the middle rope DDT onto a garbage can. Fantastic. You can't go wrong with that, can you? And then, to get the win, Orton hits an RKO on the ring steps that he'd also brought in with his garbage can. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was that. 23 minutes and 41 seconds, minutes, I almost said then because I'm an idiot, of action. And yeah, this was a 4-star match. It wasn't the best in this series, but it's perfectly acceptable. But as you probably if you saw my predictions video, you'll have heard me saying that I was worried about the outcome of this one. The reason I picked Christian is because I was hoping that Christian would then spin off into a feud with someone else. But by the looks of things, at whatever the next pay-per-view is called, it's Night of Champions, isn't it? We're going to get probably Orton versus Christian again, as Christian uses his rematch clause. So But yeah, perfectly acceptable match. Another thought I have coming out of this match, though, is you've got to assume that at Night of Champions that Christian will lose, Orton will retain, and surely that will be Christian's run against Orton, you know, done for now. It might be picked up later on. The question you've got to ask yourself is, who is there for Orton to face now on SmackDown? Who is there for him to feud with the championship over? Now, I'm thinking that maybe that is why they put Wade Barrett over Daniel Bryan tonight, because yeah, he needs a fresh, new, credible contender. I can't think of anyone. Maybe Sheamus, but you know, he's got his baby face push coming, so I can't see him doing face versus face. You know, can you? So that's an interesting one to think of. Anyway, finally, the main event. The main event was John Cena versus CM Punk. This, of course, was for the undisputed WWE Championship. They can't call it the Undisputed Championship because that would mean the already worthless World Heavyweight Championship will be worthless. Anyway, so what can we say about this one? The crowd hates Cena, as you can probably imagine. There's a bit of mat work like we got last time. I'll skip a bit to Brother to where Cole calls a crossface, an STF, like a fucking goon. Punk hits a suicide dive. He bounced, his side of his face bounced off the barricade, which was nasty. Triple H is guest referee in this one. He gets up to 9, then he decides, oh, I don't want this one to end up on a count out, and chucks both Punk and Cena back into the ring. Some people probably didn't like that. I thought that was perfectly acceptable. I actually thought it was quite insane, and it made sense as well. We don't want this match to end on a count out. We want a decisive victory. But at the same time, when was the last time you saw a suicide dive get a win? You know, get someone to stay down for a 10 count. You know. Anyway, one of the things I noticed about... Oh, this is a bad thing to talk about. I'm sorry about this, but... So I noticed that when CM Punk's got a submission move on, he's got a Cobra tattoo here, you know, from G.I. Joe. My next tattoo is a Cobra logo, and it's like, oh. But it's not like, oh, like someone else has got a Cobra tattoo, but I was, because I'm sure loads of people have got Cobra tattoos. It's just one of those things that I wish I'd spotted sooner, because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get the same tattoo as CM Punk. Mine's not going to be the same, it's going to be different colours, it's going to be blue, but it's going to have the Decepticons logo in the middle of it as well. It's fucking sick, can't wait for that one. Anyway, where are we? It's counted twice, then Mysterio gets 2 for Punk. That was a nice sit outside time by Cena. A huge knee by Punk and a bulldog, off the top. Gets 2. Punk slingshots in, but Cena counters into the STF. Punk gets 2 the ropes. They trade finishes attempts until Cena hits the AA for a close near fall. Cena misses a top rope leg drop. GTS only gets 2. Cole, oh God, says, right, as that cover's going down, Cole says, can CM Punk shock the world? Meaning that if he got the win with the go to sleep. And I'm sat there thinking to myself, but he did that last month. He won with the go to sleep. Are you an actual idiot, Michael Cole? Or do you just take lessons? Or, you know, I don't know. Anyway, fucking Cole is a goddamn idiot. Cena misses the top rope leg drop. Go to sleep and he gets 12. We've done that one. CM Punk hits a Macho Man Randy Savage style elbow, which gets 2 and also gets a Randy Savage chunk, which is brilliant. I love that. Schoolboy by Cena gets 2. Big knee by Punk, followed by go to sleep for the win. But wait, Cena's Punk, obviously. Cena's Punk is on the ropes, and the Triple H still counts the pin. And it counts, doesn't restart the match or anything. It just counts. So Cena loses. CM Punk is your world champion. But what's this? There's someone in the ring. This person clotheslines Punk down, and holy shit, it's only Kevin Nash hits the jackknife powerbomb on CM Punk. And what do you know? Here's Alberto Del Rio cashes in the Money in the Bank. A nice enziguri, 1, 2, 3, and your new champion is not CM Punk at all. No. It's Alberto Del Rio. And that was a good match. It was a 3.5 to 3 3/4, maybe even 4 if you want to go that far. Star match. So you got 2 good title matches, and you got Wade Barrett versus Daniel Bryan was pretty good, but the rest was very average. It was very average. Now I'm probably gonna get heat for this one because I always seem to, but I can't in good conscience give this one over a 7. Me personally, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Because I'm that kind of guy. I would love to know what you thought of SummerSlam down here. If you've done a review, drop it as a response down here. And if you haven't already, hit that little yellow subscribe button. My next vid will be a review of SummerSlam 2001 as part of my 10 years ago series. If you haven't subscribed to me or have never seen any of those videos, you need to go and check them out because they're fucking dope. I've been Mark P, and I will see you all very soon. Take it easy, guys.